Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are doing good. Today, I will be covering a live. There's a Twitter space live that has to do with the hack that currently happened with Algorand. And that's what we're going to be covering today. Stacy's going to be speaking. My Algo Wallet is going to be speaking. John Allen Wood is going to be speaking. So it's definitely going to be something that we should be following. The live is going to start in around 20 minutes. I wanted to start a little bit earlier to try to answer some questions or, concerns or answer whatever I possibly can. Hey, True, how you doing? Good to see you. And that's where we are right now. I hope everyone's having a really good day. And yeah, what else can I say? How's everyone's day going? Has anybody been affected by the hack? Has anybody lost any money in the hack? So far, Algorand in general is doing the same as the rest of the crypto market. It's not really losing more than anybody else. Yeah, Algorand is not exactly doing terrible. It's just doing like the rest of the crypto market. So, how's everyone doing today? Hello, don't be shy. Say hello, everybody. Say hello. Don't be shy. I feel like the entire crypto market is going down in general. Let's see how we doing over here. Algorand falls back to spot number 38th. They're down 18% for the week. Let me present this. Share screen. And window. Right? Like, this is Algorand right here. They're down 18% for the week. However, VeChain is down 20% for the week. ICP is down 16% for the week. Nair is down 18% for the week. Hedera, Kronos, they're all down. Aptos is down 18%. Filecoin is down 20%. So I don't feel like Algorand is doing any worse than the rest of the crypto market. That's my personal belief. And I feel like they've been in spot 38 for quite a while. So we'll see what's going to end up happening. What is interesting is Phantom. Phantom took a beating lately. I know this is an Algorand space, but Phantom is a very interesting project. Phantom uses DAG technology similar to Hedera, although they have a different consensus mechanism to get there. But this is a very interesting play, and it's absolutely been beat up. Maybe, just maybe, I'm going to add to this position of mine. Yeah, and that's where we're at right now. The live is going to cover there's going to be a live with Stacy Warden, my Algo Wallet, and all the other heavy hitters in the Algorand community. It's going to start in around 19 minutes. I started a little bit earlier to try to answer some questions or something like that. And yeah, there's 7 people in here. Don't be shy. If you guys want to speak, please feel free to speak. What else? That's about it. That's about it. Ba ba bum ba bum 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 ba ba bum bum bum. Let me see. Let me shout this out to people. Maybe I send it to people. What else? Yeah, I'm just waiting for the space to start, guys. It's hard for me to do a live if nobody's talking. So if you guys have questions, please feel free to ask. If you guys have no questions, I'm just going to wait a little bit until the live starts. In about 18 minutes, they're going to go live on the Twitter space. We're going to be hearing what Stacy Warden has to say. We're going to hear what John Allen Wood had to say and what Rand Labs have to say. Rand Labs are the owners of My Algo Wallet. If you guys don't know, there has been a hack on a third-party application. My Algo Wallet. Did you catch Uncle Jerome's grilling session this morning? No, I didn't. It's been such a crazy, crazy morning with so many things happening, and I already put out like a million videos. I did not get a chance to look at that yet, but I'm looking forward to getting to it eventually. But it's like an entire back and forth, right? It's just stupidity what's happening. It's just stupidity that's happening. I heard that Grayscale Investment Trust is suing the SEC for their ETF. Da-da-da-dum. Da-da-da-dum. Pum, 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 pum. Has anybody been affected with this hack? Has anybody at all been hacked or no? I'm just curious. Let's see. Let me share this if anybody wants to join. Content. Ba-da-da-dum. What were they saying? Fill me in. Da-da-da-dum. Pum, 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 pum. Our elected officials are oblivious. Fill me in. True. What were they saying? What were they saying? Guys, the live is gonna start in 15 minutes. I just decided to come on earlier to try to speak to people, but you know. I also made a video earlier about how to stake your Hedera if you guys want to check it out. If you guys want to check it out. No lockup period. My bad. I'm at work. No doubt. No problem. Guys, for anybody that's tuning in right now, basically there was a hack on Algorand third-party My Algo wallet. The hack has nothing to do whatsoever with actually Algorand protocol. Algorand protocol is 100% safe, but there has been a hack. The value of the hack is about in 8-figure territory, so tens of millions of dollars worth. Today, we will get an update from the CEO of Algorand, the chief technical officer of Algorand, and Rand Labs. And it's going to start in 14 minutes. Until then, I'm just hanging out. That's a good point. So the interesting thing is now is the best time to invest in Algorand because the price is down. The Algo blockchain is secure. It's just a third-party wallet that was hacked. I think we are all grown up and know how to use Ledger. So the interesting thing is the price of Algorand has not actually suffered. The price of Algorand is up and down with the rest of the crypto market. So I don't think there's an overreaction at all. Plus, in theory, the amount of money that was stolen is in the millions of dollars, maybe like 10 million, something like this, actual value. So if you think about it, 10 million in terms of a $1.5 billion market cap, it's nothing, right? It's like not even 0.1 of 1%. Is there going to be an overreaction and the price is going to drop? I don't know. It looks like no at this particular point in time. I also think that a lot of people don't know what's happening. Only people on Twitter actually know what's happening. I'm covering it because I'm an Algorand guy, but in reality, a lot of people have no idea what's happening. So, yeah. But Constantine, you're 100% right. If there is going to be an overreaction and the price does drop like crazy, obviously right now would be a good time to buy into it. For sure, for sure, for sure. Bum. The live is going to start in around 10 minutes, 12 minutes. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Until then, I didn't really have anything planned. Honestly, I thought a lot more people were going to show up and a lot more people were going to ask questions. And that's fine. Easier work for me. Let's see what the Algorand Foundation has to say. They're going to update us. It absolutely sucks. And definitely this looks bad in general. A lot of people don't know how everything works. And everybody keeps saying, Algorand was hacked. Algorand was hacked. Algorand was not hacked. A third-party wallet was, in fact, hacked. So hopefully this is going to clear a few things up. I'm looking forward to seeing what they got to say. And the live is going to start in around 10 minutes. Stacy's going to be speaking. John is going to be speaking. And Rand Labs is going to be speaking. Rand Labs is the same people that have the NFT marketplace, which is Rand Gallery, if I'm not mistaken. And they also own My Algo wallet. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's about to happen. Definitely going to be interesting to see what's about to happen. There were several representatives present from various states, and they feel crypto undermining the traditional brick and mortar banks is going to destroy communities and bankrupt everybody. Yeah, they just don't understand the fundamentals of cryptocurrency, which is okay. I mean, what are you going to do, right? It is what it is. They're never going to understand. They're literally never going to understand. There's not much you could do, and, you know, these people are dinosaurs. Thankfully, we do have a couple of people that are pro crypto, a couple of governors, a couple of senators, a couple of these people that happen to be pro crypto. So at the very least, at least that's going to help us, right? Let me send this out. Twitter. What was the last bullish bull run high for Algorand? Good question. Let's check it out together. Let's share the screen. Let's do this. Algorand. So it looks like we had a big high here. And maybe the last run up happened in November and we were up to 44 cents. So it looks like the last run up was around 1 second. Price 94 cents. No, this is not right. The price was never 93 cents. CoinMarketCap got it all twisted. CoinMarketCap is trying to say that at one point Algorand hit 93 cents, but it didn't hit 93 cents. Oh, this is in 2022. I'm sorry. A year ago, Algorand was actually at around $1. So a year ago, Algorand was at $1. So I don't know how you count the recent high. If you want to go by 1 year ago, it was 95 cents. But if you want to go to recent highs, it was 42 cents. 42 cents. A year ago was 90 cents. 90 cents, 42 cents. And then it was making a little bit of a comeback. It hit all the way 29 cents, and now it's back down to 20 cents, which absolutely sucks. Absolutely sucks. Minimum 10x. Bull run was too. So I don't think that Algorand ever had a bull run. Can I be honest with you guys? I don't think Algorand ever had a bull run. That's my personal opinion. I think Algorand has not had a bull run. If you go to all 2021, the last time all-time high was around $2 an algo. $2 an algo. $2 an algo. So I think we have a 20x, from here. I don't think that we ever actually had an all-time high. Guys, give it 7 minutes. The live is going to start in 7 minutes. I'm going to be covering the live of Stacey Warden, John Allen Woods, and Rand Labs are going to be doing a live. So we'll see what's going to happen. Sucks, yeah, but this is such a... Where's my water? This is painful. It sucks. But again, at the very least, we're not suffering any way more than the rest of the crypto market. The whole crypto market is down. Algorand is not down any worse than any other cryptocurrency. So, yeah. That's a good thing, right? Algorand is not down worse than any other cryptocurrency. Guys, the live is going to start in 6 minutes. I'm going to cover it live. It's going to be really, really good. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. We have 17 people. I appreciate it. If you guys have any questions that you would like to talk about, I'll be happy to answer it. The actual live is about to start in 6 minutes. We're going to get the CEO of Algorand Foundation, Stacey Warden. We will get the chief CTO of Algorand Foundation, John Allen Woods. And we will also get Rand Labs, who's the owners of My Algo Wallet, who's going to be speaking. I'm such an idiot, man. Like, when Algorand hit 29 cents, I should have sold. I'm so stupid. But you know how they say everything is hindsight 2020, but I should have sold. I'm an idiot. I should have sold at 29 cents. But I honestly thought that it could have ran to 35 cents, and I got greedy. I should have went with my gut. I should have sold at 30 cents, but I didn't. Definitely sucks. Algorand itself is safe. Algorand itself is super safe. The protocol is safe. Nothing ever happened to the protocol. This is 100% has to do with third party. It's not a phishing attack. I honestly think it's insiders. And I think when during Algorand governance, maybe somebody made like a fake website and they sent them malicious information. And because that happened, people were able to rob them. But Algorand is working with FBI and law enforcement, and they're working with KuCoin and USDC Circle and also Change Now. So they're working with the exchanges to not let people off-ramp funds, which is a good thing. Because you still need to be able to off-ramp your funds. If you can't off-ramp your funds, you can't really do much with the crypto, right? You can't really do much with the crypto. At the end of the day, with the crypto, you want to be able to sell the crypto, take the fiat, and use the fiat in your everyday regular life. If you can't do that, then it's almost no good. Then this hack is almost no good. It doesn't really help you. $20 people in here. Everybody say hello, hello, hello. Don't be shy. The live is about to start in 4 minutes. Let me pull this up. The live shall start in a few minutes. DCA, be grateful. Yeah, that's one way of thinking about it. For sure. For sure. We'll see what's going to happen, man. I want to hear what they got to say. I mean, this attack is nothing bad about Algorand itself. Algorand itself is secure. This has everything to do with the third-party application, right? So this has nothing to do with actual Algorand. It has everything to do with the third-party application. And for some reason, people like like to jump to conclusions and be like, oh, Algorand sucks, Algorand's not secure. No, this has nothing to do with that. This is 100% to do with a third-party application. So, yeah. Guys, the live is going to start in 2 minutes. Stacy Warden, the Algorand Foundation CEO, is speaking. John Allen Wood, who's the Chief Technical Officer, is speaking. And Rand Gallery, who's actually the owners, Rand Labs are the owners of my Algo wallet, will also be speaking. This is going to start in just a moment. So definitely enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. One minute, guys. 1 minute. 1 minute to starting. Pum. Guys, it should start any moment.
Hello there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you, John.
Cool.
Algo fam, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you very much for joining. We'll get started in just a second. Okay, it looks like we have everybody in the speaker sports, Stacy.
Okay. Hi, Algo fam. Thanks for tuning into this. We are, of course, this is a pretty dark day, a pretty dark week for our ecosystem. And of course, I speak for the entire foundation when I say that we are so sorry, that this has happened to folks. Pablo and Michelle will take you through exactly what's happened over the last 2 weeks, but there's no sugarcoating. Of course, this was a pretty terrible thing. If you are the hacker and you're lurking out there, I don't know how you sleep at night. I will say, I don't know how you look yourself in the mirror every morning and see what you've done. I don't know how you sleep at all. I know 2 people that haven't been sleeping very much are Michelle and Pablo. You know, they've been, they and their teams, they have a, you know, reasonably small team, I would say. They've been working around the clock trying to figure out, you know, what happened. This has been, you know, we don't know still what happened. And this has been a very sophisticated operation. So what we are, you know, just by way of, I guess, managing expectations about whether we'll have some answers about what's going on, we really don't know anything, you know, at this point still. But what we'll do for the flow of this is, I think, I'm not sure which one, but one of the two founders of Rand Labs will give a bit of a timeline, a recap of what happened. We've had some comments about communications. You know, I do want to say that, and so Fred Estante, who, as you know, is our head of product marketing, he'll go through the communications timeline with you. You know, I will say that right from the beginning, there's an ongoing investigation, and we are separate, you know, entities. So there was a, you know, a limited degree to which the foundation could say something, but, you know, John Woods, you know, of course, was out there pretty, you know, the next day actually, trying to give, you know, information about stuff. So, but Fred will take you through that. And, you know, on communications, let me just say personally, I think we could have done a better job on that. I think we did a better job than some, you know, some folks are giving us credit for, but I do think we could have done a better job on it. And so, you know, we'll learn from this. We were limited, you know, somewhat in what we could do, though, I will say. And then John will come on and he will talk about again the protocol and the measures that you should be taking, and just kind of some best practices, and also give his, you know, his take on the timeline as well. You know, I've gotten a lot of DMs of, you know, very kind DMs. I mean, there's been some, you know, of course, lots of anger out there. A lot of people are hurt. A lot of people are hurt materially. It's a very big deal to lose money, and some people have lost a lot of money. It's hard to even imagine, you know, what that's like. I just want to, you know, end, I guess, this little intro, though, by saying I've seen so many instances of kindness of you guys one to another, and support one to another. And, you know, we are based on community, and it's, you know, heartening in days like this and weeks like this to see that kind of community coming together and just being supportive and nice to each other. So I did want to just you know, say that as well. So, you know, I'm not the technical person, so nobody wants to hear from me on the technical stuff on this. So, Pablo or Michelle, why don't I hand it over to you first, and then we'll go to Fred, and then we'll go to John, and then if we have time, we'll take some questions from the community as well.
Yeah, thank you, Stacy. So, I think given the situation, it's best to give a quick overview of what happened, timeline, some details of what have been doing since then. But essentially, on I believe February 20, 2 weeks ago, more or less, there were like I don't recall exactly, but let's say around 20 addresses drained of their funds, and these addresses were particularly big in balance, and that was all we knew till then. Victims started reaching out throughout the coming days after that event happened, and we started to put the clues together, reaching out to the relevant exchanges, including like KuCoin and ChangeNow, which were the main places where these funds started flowing to alert them of what was going on. We know ChangeNow was able to freeze some funds back then, but we kept finding, understanding what was happening, interviewing the victims, discussing, but still very in the know. Like the main theory was some type of phishing attack. Despite that, like the numbers were too big, so it would have had to be some sophisticated phishing attack, and we weren't sure about that. But as time passed, we we started getting more concerned because we weren't sure, but there were more claims to more hacks. We later checked that, and we found more wallets that had been hacked at the same time. It ended up being around 24 addresses that were drained, and that's when we decided to kind of start alerting people of what was going on. Also, in middle of that, we've had some good contacts with the FBI from previous cases, given that we also run the Algo Explorer API, and those logs are usually valuable for authorities. Like, we ended up being able to communicate with the authorities very quickly, and providing the logs relevant for them to start investigation, which it has proven very helpful. But yeah, later, a week after that incident, or yeah, more or less, and sorry if I have the timelines wrong at this point, but there was another incident where another group of addresses got drained or stolen their balances, and these were going for, again, like the pattern now was like they was going from biggest balances to least balances. That's where the biggest alarms starting popping up, and that's where we knew this was something bigger than expected. That's where also you'd start seeing more and more alerts around the ecosystem, asking users to withdraw their funds if they've been using my Algo wallet. As again, we had till then not been able to identify the vulnerability or the root cause of all of this. And throughout all this time, most of the team has been spent not like working with the authorities, retrieving all the relevant logs needed for the authorities to identify IP addresses and where the flow of funds was going. Similar efforts were addressed to exchanges, KuCoin, Binance, ChangeNow, Gate, among others, and again, to be able to alert them of the malicious addresses. We also ensured all main hacker addresses were posted in the Algo Explorer, so that the community could also help alert if any movements were going towards a specific direction, so we could alert exchanges fast enough. So but later, obviously in March, like this Monday, the attacker had till then been draining funds manually, even using my algo to drain some of these funds by manually going by one in descending order. But then on Monday, it looks like the attacker was able to finally automate the script to drain everyone's funds, or the funds of the accounts the attacker had access to. It's still very early. We're still analyzing the numbers and tagging all the addresses that are confirmed and potential. But there's evident patterns on chain that we can use to kind of more or less measure the impact, the amount of the impact. We estimate around 2,000 to 2,500 accounts have been impacted. There's a particular type of attack that we haven't been able to really track. We don't have indexers for that, but it's just the attack was also rekeying some accounts. Even like one of my personal accounts was rekeyed, which had DeFi positions and ASA. So, and discussing with other victims, it looks like there's some rekeyed accounts that most likely the pattern is that they had some like many NFTs or different ASAs or LP positions in DeFi. But we don't know still if those rekeyed accounts were manual before the script started running, or if it was also part of the overall automated script, because it's hard to find enough cases of rekeyed accounts to do the right analytics on that front. Other than that, I mean, like, we understand like how bad this has been for the ecosystem. We even like ourselves, we've been impacted personally as well, and we'll continue working tirelessly as we have, even despite our very small team, unlimited resources to collaborate with everyone needed, right? Continue tracing addresses. One point that is kind of unique to Algorand is like the ecosystem doesn't have like mixers. It doesn't have a lot of volume on the bridges side. So overall, the chain is very hard for an attacker or a thief to exit the funds or clean those funds, which is like towards the advantage of victims. It's going to be a hard time for the hacker to get out of these assets. Also, we cannot say much about this, but authorities are optimistic based on like the information they have. But so we still don't know how this is going to be resolved. But ensuring like entities like Chainalysis also help on the tracing of funds will ensure that exchanges are alerted to freezing any funds that arrive from any of these tagged wallets. Authorities have like optimism about the capacity to find the perpetrator. That's all we can look forward till now. Also, we have Algorand, which is like a leading audit firm, helping us actively since last night in trying to find the root cause of what happened internally. Throughout this step, obviously, we've had to prioritize. We've been looking for the vulnerability, but while also juggling the balance of alerting authorities and ensuring the least amount of funds were able to escape. But hopefully, with the help of Halborn, we'll be able to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, basically, the idea is to understand what happened, how this was impacted in our infrastructure, if it was the case, or if it's a vulnerability. So understand exactly what happened for us is the top priority. We are opening everything to the investigators. Also, we gave the FBI, the Singapore police, we are giving them all the logs to make the enforcement easier. So our idea is to open everything so anyone can, any investigator can research and understand what happened. So that is our top priority now, a part of the enforcement that we are working all the time. When we see any movement of the attacker, we are notifying the exchanges or whatever need to be notified. And unfortunately, sometimes they don't move as fast as we are moving, but our top priority is there, and then to find the root cause of this. So we understand really the anger. We are also losing a lot here, and yeah, it's are really the unfortunately this industry. It hurts a lot with this kind of incidents, and it's our tough moments. Really, they can happen in this industry, and we are.
Yeah, this is like the worst phase of this technology, and we've spent 3 years working tirelessly for Algorand without like looking up for any upside or anything like that, other than just contributing to the ecosystem. And it's very hard for us and the team to be in this position, seeing what has happened to the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think that goes without saying. I mean, we know your sincerity, and we know that you're trying to figure this out. And we have also, we talked about the investigation, and John will say a little bit more about it. But of course, that's going to be our very top priority right now. And we've just hired Holborn and also Chainalysis to do some work to figure this out. So, yeah. Fred, do you want to go next, or John? Fred, you want to say?
I can go next.
Okay, great.
Fantastic. Thank you, Stacey, and thank you, Michelle, for the very detailed timeline. So I guess I just share a few quick words in the sense that, to begin with, John was appointed internally as the spokesperson for the Algorand Foundation, given this was a tech vulnerability issue, and John is the Chief Technology Officer of the Algorand Foundation. John early on shared a lot of information. He amplified Rand Labs and Mayagos communications, shared personal thoughts, and also just led basically the communication efforts, such as the research performed by one of our community members, led by one of our community members, D13. we first turned all of our eyes and attentions to the protocol and involved Algorand Inc. and relevant parties to make sure that the protocol and the Algorand SDK were not compromised. We did a lot of very deep technological research there to prove that, in fact, the protocol itself was not compromised. Then we started working very closely with all involved parties, giving full technological and operational support to the investigation. When Mayago decided to alert users to move funds, we amplified that, and this happened on February 27. So John went on to amplify this announcement and also share his thoughts and how people can do that. Moving forward, we quickly, when attacks ramped up basically early this week, we were very quick to respond to the community on social channels, website. We also did a mailing list blast to hundreds of thousands of emails we have in our database with a clear, call to action for the Algorand community, and also with specific guidelines on how to either rekey their current accounts to new accounts that could be created in one of the other wallets in the ecosystem, or also just directly move all the funds to new accounts. And as recently as yesterday, we announced the engagement of Algorand and Chainalysis to bring them into the ongoing investigation, which I believe John can speak with a little more, with more depth to the actual involvement into the investigation moving forward. John?
Hey, yeah. Hey, everybody. Can you hear me okay, by the way? Because sometimes my phone is funny.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, look, it's this is awful stuff. I think looking back on it over the last kind of few days, I think it's been wonderful how much the community have come together to support. Just want to shout out to folks like D13 Collective who've really been pushing forward.
100%.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and it's a testament to what we're trying to do here, right? I mean, I don't want to get philosophical about it, but like, it's a shit situation, and everyone pulled together, even people who weren't personally impacted financially, just to try and make sure that we're all working together, putting out good information and reducing the noise. So yeah, I just want to say, the community did more than I did. I was just part of it. But just want to say I appreciate all the help. And you folks know who you are, who I've been talking to, and so you guys know I've held a few calls. I've talked to most of you one-to-one about this. Obviously, we still don't know the fundamental root cause, but we've hired professional firms now who are going to go in and try to find out exactly what happened. There's just so I worked a long time in computer security, and there's just so many different avenues for exploits and vulnerabilities and zero-day attacks and DNS poisoning and key exfiltration. It's just it's a smorgasbord of different vulnerabilities, which is why I guess at the very beginning, my chief instinct was to check that it wasn't a problem with the protocol and with consensus. And of course, we did that by verifying that the transactions that were exfiltrating the funds or taking the funds had valid signatures. We pulled out the ORNS values of the elliptic curve signatures. We checked that the VRF was functioning correctly, that the consensus algorithm was functioning correctly, and that the transactions were technically valid, okay, even if they're illegal. And so, yeah, so obviously it's not the protocol, but that then leaves, of course, key bias, and we checked the entropy of the keys. We checked the randomness quality, I should say, rather than entropy of the keys. Didn't see anything there, and now we're down to looking for zero-day vulnerabilities in the website and other things like that. So we'll get there. We'll get to a place where we figure this all out. You guys will know I did a video the other night. It went down pretty well. I think I got a lot of views, and folks seem to appreciate it. Talking about how this stuff works mathematically in a simple way, and also the various types of wallets that you can have and how they work, and the difference in how they're architected. So I'll be doing more of that stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot more live stuff, trying to educate people and bring people up to speed on the latest and greatest way to do things. And so people understand what the technologies that they're using. And yeah, I'll just finish with saying that I'll do a live stream as well when we figure this out, when Algorand and Chainalysis are helping to freeze the funds that have been stolen. But when Algorand hopefully figure out with the MyAlgo team exactly what went down, I'll do a live stream and talk through it and explain it to everyone. Yeah, I hope that helps.
Okay, so do we want to take Fred? Maybe I'll have you moderate if we want to have a bit more of an open discussion.
Absolutely. We already have some requests from the community, so start bringing people to the speaker board so they can share their questions.
I think maybe what we'll do is we'll gather a few together, in case there are a lot of them, and then we'll group them together and answer a few at one time.
Sounds like a plan. Well, we already have D13 in the speaker board, and joining him are Elder and the Guard protocol account, which were the first three requests. So maybe D13, we can start with you.
I don't have a specific question. I just wanted to make a comment that I was very happy to see Halborn come on board, and basically what I'm perceiving as the full weight of the foundation behind this investigation. It's not really just about liability, and it's not us who developed it and so on, but it is clearly something that is impacting the ecosystem. And seeing you guys take this seriously and full force is, yeah, bullish on that. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Abid. I believe in behalf of the entire community and our team, I truly thank and appreciate all of your efforts and all the time you put into helping us, from the get-go of this incident to try to gather information, gather data, share news with the community. So we truly appreciate your ongoing support in this matter.
Thank you. There is maybe one question that's been asked a couple of times, which regards the licensing of my algo, if it is intended to open source it.
Okay, let's collect that. I will write that down, and then let's just get a couple of questions together.
Sounds good. Well, the next person to request to be in the speaker board was Elder, and then we move on to Guard. So Elder.
Yeah, hi all. Obviously very unfortunate for, and I feel sorry for, for everyone that actually suffered through this attack. It is a bit disturbing, I have to admit, looking at the Twitter and a lot of people attacking Algorand Foundation and, individuals, which I don't think is fair. I mean, remember, this is decentralized ecosystem and there are certain risks that come with it. I mean, the fact that Algorand Foundation is extending their help and bringing in, and I'm assuming paying for Holborn and chain analysis speaks a volume. So, just, do think about, things, especially when you tweet in anger. And don't get me wrong, I've been in this ecosystem for a long time, and I'm underwater probably more than, multiples of you, and you don't hear me screaming. So I just want to say, you're not doing yourself any favor by screaming and trying to, either play victims or blame other people that are quite frankly not responsible here. Let the, investigation run the course, and then let's see where we are at the end of it. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thanks, Elder, for that. And I guess who's Guard? Guard, you guys are next.
Hey everyone, yeah, this is Riley from Guard. Appreciate whoever was in our space and mentioned that this was starting up right after. So I guess I'll plug our weekly Twitter space. It's Wednesdays at 1 Eastern. We talk about this kind of stuff all the time. And the first thing I want to say is that I want to just give my personal condolences to everyone who's been affected by all this. Lots of different people been affected in one or many different ways, right? And I think it's really hard to measure people's losses, right? I mean, I know that, Elder, you just said that you were affected like way worse than most people, but there's people who've been here for years, whether as a community member, whether as a believer, a builder, right? There's so many really great people who have been contributing to Algorand, right? And I want to agree and say that this hack is not the fault of the foundation, right? It's not the fault of the foundation. And the good news is that it seems, all evidence points to the fact that the base protocol is safe, right? One of my questions was about open source. Sounds like that's already been asked, so appreciate that. Who already brought that up, but really another one of my questions though is, again, 100% agree, not the foundation's fault that there was a hack. And my sympathy goes out to everyone who has been affected by this, which really is the whole Algorand community, right? This is one of the biggest exploits, if not the biggest, of this variety ever. And it happened during a bear market, so it's quite serious. And I know a lot of different people are going to need some time to recover from it, right? But the real question that I have is, why did both Rand Labs and the foundation really not raise the alarm sooner, right? Again, things happen, right? We all know that, right? I mean, it's as everyone said, this is bleeding edge technology, very out there field. But I'm not sure why the alarm bells didn't go off sooner. I'm not sure why people who came out were, I feel like it's a silly word to use, but it fits. Why these people were all gaslit publicly. And if there's again, the people who were affected initially, that's well and good, right? Like that happened. There's an exploit. Things happen, right? You move about your day. But the fact that now so many people have been affected, I just wonder what the rationale was by not, trying to raise the alarm sooner. Like what the evidence was from behind the scenes. And if the foundation thinks it was a mistake, and if Rand Labs thinks it was a mistake that they didn't act sooner to tell people to make a change.
So maybe I can speak to that from a technical angle. So sorry, Stacey, do you want to speak first?
No, I think we had one more question though from Fred, and we'll gather all four together, and then we'll answer all of them.
Sure.
Thanks. So we're also going to be able to take a question from Jesse. So Jesse, please share a question, and then we start responding them and answer. Thank you.
Hi, thanks. I understand that we now have professional organizations becoming involved in the investigation, and we'll probably get a great post-mortem out of it. But to this date, has there been any interviewing of anybody that is a verified victim? And if so, are there any commonalities or parallels that have been drawn, like browser or OS version and patch level, or the date the seed phrase was created or imported, or anything of that nature?
Okay. Thanks. That's a very good question that John has together with the community spent a lot of time on. So let me just summarize. So my algo, open source. Holborn, thanks for those words, Elder. Yes, the foundation is paying for these professional services to come in, but I do want to say that Rand Labs went out and sourced them and talked to a bunch of different ones and selected and did a lot of, they did a lot of heavy lifting in terms of what would be the best, firm to do it. Riley asking about why we didn't come out earlier. I am going, gaslit is a very serious accusation to level at somebody. Gaslit means that you deliberately hide or obfuscate the truth in order to make a victim think that they've gone crazy or something has happened that was not true. So I'm going to object to your characterization of us doing that. But we'll talk about the communications again. And then the last is the commonality around that. And so, John, why don't we kick off with you? Because I think some of these apply to you, and then we'll go to Michelle or Pablo as well.
Yeah, look, I'll keep it really quick. On the notion of like raising the alarm and like sounding the sirens earlier, it's just not the way things are done in computer security. And so I've worked professionally in computer security, both, of course, on Cardano, Ethereum, and indeed Algorand, but also, prior to this, I led cloud security at a major American firm. And when you have a situation, you have to apply kind of a professional triage to it. And so you have to apply Occam's razor. You got to take things, you can't jump to conclusions. And so when at the beginning, when we had a handful, 10, 15 high value accounts that were compromised, without what we've seen 2 days ago, which is the huge compromise of thousands of accounts. Of course, when you have thousands of accounts that get compromised in a single day, that's a totally different thing. in the early stages, it looked like a spear phishing attack against high value, prominent individuals in the community. And so you have to kind of, just like in medicine, you have to basically treat the symptoms that you see at that point. And so that's the reason we didn't go out and try to start a panic with people using MyAlgo, because it wouldn't be appropriate. Because if it did turn out that it was a high value spear phishing attack, which happens, by the way, all the time in many different contexts and many different industries, we would have caused mayhem to the average retail user. And so you can't jump to sounding the alarm, and that's just the reality of it. I know, looking back now that it's escalated to the point that it has, one might say, well, that would have been useful, but in reality, 9 times out of 10, it's not the right action.
Right.
In
Well,
terms
I
of,
don't think that that's fair, though. Occam's
Riley,
razor.
we'll let people just continue answering the
Okay.
questions now. So thanks.
All right. Well, all I'll say is that look for the most simple solution. I don't agree that that's the most simple solution, but anyway, I'll just mute myself.
okay. And then for the question around the characteristics and patterns, absolutely, that was one of the key drivers in the early days. So with the help of the community, really driven again by D13, who basically formulated about 48 different questions from, as you said, what version of macOS are they on? What's the kernel version of Linux? When's the last time they used the seed? It was quite literally 48 characteristics. And we surveyed a whole bunch of different people from the community who were affected. And there wasn't really a very obvious trend in the data, except for all users were using single sig MyAlgo wallets that were interacted with the web interface, and that was the only real characteristic. No one was using hardware, and no one was using multi-sig. But outside of that, there was no real correlation or pattern in the data.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Yeah, it's there is a correlation about Chrome, but it's 95% of our users were from Chrome, so it's difficult to say that it's just Chrome. So that's the only correlation, because we saw Windows operating systems, we saw macOS, and even mobile. So it's difficult. We didn't find a pattern. I will answer also on the why we delay, if we did really. It's initially we didn't know exactly what was the attack vector, as John says, but as soon as we understood that this was more a bigger thing, we communicate by Twitter that we strongly advise all users to withdraw any funds from mnemonic wallets. So as soon as we understood the impact, we did it, and we didn't speculate about that. So the problem is that sometimes you don't know exactly what is happening, and that was the case initially. But it's that's something that you cannot say everything is broken if you don't know. Sometimes you can prevent something, but it's then what happened after will give you the if you were okay or not what we said. But it was very difficult at the beginning to understand the whole impact of the attack. But as soon as we saw new attacks, we tweet an advice to withdraw the funds or rekey. So that was our position. Then on the open source, we were talking about open sourcing with the foundation before this, the wallet, but to open source a code or a software, it takes a lot of time, because you need to document, you need to prepare the code to open source. Otherwise, you give the code to attacker. So it's a preparation. Now it's a different story, and it's a possibility. We don't close that possibility.
Also, Eldar, like if you wanna access the repo, we can also like give you access directly if you want to.
D13, did you want to say one more thing before I wrap up?
Yes, I
Sorry,
wanted to.
sorry, guys. Eldar here. Sorry for interrupting. I just want to make myself clear here. I was not affected by the hack or scam, whatever you want to call it. I was referring to the fact, which is something that should be openly said, because what has happened, the value, of the overall market cap value has, of Algorand has gone down 100 million. So that was what I was referring to when I said, so, but anyway, but I appreciate the offer is not needed. I managed to rekey in time. And I have to say here, not thanks to the early alert from either RandLab or Algorand Foundation, but it just happened that I followed one of the members who was highly recommending this on Twitter. So it was really sheer luck rather than anything else.
Okay, D13, did you have one more comment before I wrap up as well?
Sure, I'll keep it brief then. To provide a little bit more context and background on the first question about why there was no earlier warning, why, I mean, there's an uncertainty in approaching these kinds of things. And when we initially only identified 10 wallets on chain, and we could only reach a single person for the first day to conduct an interview, you can't raise the alarm there. It took several days, almost the entire week, to get even enough critical mass to have enough answers to be able to have a semi-statistically significant sampling to say it isn't iOS, for instance, which had a vulnerability just 6 days ago. Apple had patched a remote code execution vulnerability on Safari and macOS specifically. You can't say it wasn't that. In fact, it was one of my recommendations initially, just to be safe. Guys, upgrade your OS, Mac, iPhone, and so on. There are so many vectors to consider that to be sure to have enough reasonable doubt, as I've written in my report, to recommend as a precaution to rekey, you have to basically eliminate almost everything else. And it's quite a lot to eliminate everything else and to get to, yeah, it might actually be a problem with there, and we need to keep people safe.
Precisely correct. That is exactly the right.
Yeah, one thing I read in Twitter that someone told me that doesn't agree with me about that we weren't able to choose something else, and he's saying that we should reinstate, like, to stop the transactions, and we can't stop the transactions. We could have stopped the transactions on the first attack that was using MyAlgo, but the attacker could just import the wallet in a script and use it from a script, and it's a blockchain. We cannot censor.
That's not how this works at all.
It's not possible. Blockchain, you cannot stop. That's the idea, and that's what censorship resistant means. That we cannot not stop even the attackers.
Yeah, and one last thing before we wrap up is that regarding the patterns, that one person asked, we find many patterns, but like we focus mainly on victims that had very few interactions with the blockchain, because those were like the cleanest examples to interview and find out. But now, like, there's also, we would like to invite the community, whoever's listening here, like, now it's also interesting to know, like, those that had like some material amount of funds, but like the hacker took took balances as low as one algo. But like whoever had like mnemonic wallets in my algo that had some type of balance and were not impacted by this, it would be good if you can reach out to any of us in this call or in this space to just see what like pattern you had in your behavior, and that could also help in the investigation.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Sorry to interrupt. There is a really important thing to note, is that there are still assets at risk. We do not know if this is all of it. Please, if you still have, or if you know someone who has a mnemonic phrase that still has ASAs or NFTs or app state position in DeFi or anything, go secure your funds. We do not know if there's more. It's been a 3-stage attack so far.
Yeah, we're
Don't secure your
seeing,
funds. Let everyone know.
and we're
Yeah,
seeing
there are,
compromised keys that are like had algos is drained, but there are accounts that had their algos drained, but that still have assets.
yeah, they have,
Take
yes.
a look at that.
In particular, the last attack that was massive about algos, but the attacker left USDCs in the accounts. So if you are one of those, please secure that those assets as soon as possible.
And if someone is stuck and isn't able to transact for their ASAs, if you send them 0.1 algo, that is 2 USD cents to you, and it's going to be 100 transactions to them. Do it.
All right, I love the warnings, and we'll of course continue to post and repost the same things about how reporting and also making sure that your funds are safe. I think everything that we said about the communications and the uncertainty and the risk of doing things if you're not sure is all true. I do think though, and I'm mostly speaking for me personally, I do think we could have done a better job at the foundation though in amplifying. It's a little heartbreaking when somebody like Elder says that he found out by chance. We tend to be a little Twitter reliant, right? So John tweets. And so, and this is completely on me, right? He tweets and I'm like, okay, we're out there. He's our CTO. He's the spokesman. We're out there. Surely they know. But then we had a newsletter, our Algorand newsletter went out and we didn't mention it in the newsletter. Like, that's just ridiculous, right? We should have had a formal statement when we were ready, not before we were ready. And it's true that we couldn't have done, and we were constrained also by the investigation. But we came out with the email communication today, right? Like, that's too late. So there's just no sense in which I am saying like that we get a gold star for this. So we're gonna we learn from this, and we're gonna make sure that we're better going forward. And we were a bit shocked and scrambling and head scratching like everybody else was, but we absolutely could have done a better job. And then I personally, this is a very crypto is a pretty personal thing, and so I think it was also an error on my part to say, John's the CTO and John's going to be the face, which is of course how it should be. But I also should have personally been out there before I was, just just letting folks know that like I know what's going on and I'm following it and minute by minute and et cetera, and like I care. I mean, I kind of feel like it's obvious how much I care, but it's not obvious, right? So and then we've had a number of ideas, and do keep sending us ideas. One of the things that I've heard a number of times through DMs and other forum of how I speak to folks is that people, we said rekey, but people, when they understood, governors move their algo out of their MyAlgo wallet, and that makes you ineligible for to participate, to vote for this governance period. And so I can't tell you how complicated this is. I mean, it's ridiculously complicated, and we're not 100% sure that we can do this, but we are trying. And there's an internal Slack channel that's like a mile long now about the best way and to what extent this is possible. But we are very, very closely looking at how we can make sure that you're still counted as a governor in this period, even if you moved your funds out of your MyAlgo wallet. So I think my cryptographers might kill me if I promise 100% that we can do this, but we are really looking hard at how to get that done. And also, if you have thoughts about how to not give governance rewards to the hacker, of course, but also to make that happen, like technical ideas around that. You guys are very smart community, and we are super open to. We would love ideas there. So that's in addition to like the investigation, that's our number one task at the foundation right now, is figuring out how to identify those folks that didn't rekey, but that moved their algos someplace safe, and how to make sure that they, if possible, can keep participating in this governance period. So in conclusion, I guess I'll just say that we'll keep engaging, and we'll we'll keep you apprised of what's going on. And yeah, we're just we're very sorry that this is happening to us. Okay, thanks so much, everybody.
Sorry. Can I just ask one more
Thank you,
question?
Stacey.
Obviously, Coinbase is not allowing for algo to go into, towards them at this point, at least. My worry is here that, and I don't know if contact has been made there or not, but considering that 50% of the volume on centralized exchanges when it comes to algo happens with them, that the attacker will try to dump algo there. Has there been communication with them with regards to that to prevent that and to stop, these addresses and ultimately him or whoever it is cashing out?
So yeah, I can maybe take that one, Stacey, because I'm in on the front line with it. Yes. So we've seen that the attacker really is using non-KYC exchanges where they don't have to have their name, their home, their utility bills registered, right? So that's KuCoin, ChangeNow, those type of, everyone knows these non-KYC exchanges. So we are talking to their management teams, literally one-to-one in Telegram. They're aware. They get fed all of the accounts. They're freezing the accounts where possible and waiting for law enforcement reports so that they can take action. Separate to that, we recognized that for decentralized exchanges, we needed to make sure that we had something more formal in place. So we engaged Chain Analysis. We already had a relationship with them, but they are now and have been for the last number of hours working actively on this and are aware of all of the accounts that are involved. And so they've been sending those for exchanges that integrate with Chain Analysis, and of which I believe Coinbase is one. They now have automated reports to basically block and freeze assets that are sent in from those sanctioned accounts. So yes, is the answer basically in a nutshell.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, let me do a quick recap for everybody, and then we're going to call this quits. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask. So this is what I got. Originally, there was around 20 wallets. They were all whales that got hacked. Most of the funds are going to ChangeNow and KuCoin. KuCoin and ChangeNow have been informed. They are locking up some of the accounts. The second wave involved 24 more wallets. These wallets contained smaller amounts than whales. This is when they contacted the FBI. The third wave included a total of 2,000 to 2,500 estimated accounts that were hacked. John is the official spokesperson as the chief technical officer. The Algorand Foundation hired Huborn and Chain Analysis. Huborn is a detective, and Chain Analysis is what keeps track of all transactions. Chain Analysis is sending information to all central exchanges as needed and communicating with law enforcement. This was paid for by the Algorand Foundation, but interviewed and found by Rand Labs. Why was nothing mentioned earlier? The reason why nothing was mentioned earlier was because we weren't sure what was happening. As a few accounts were getting hacked, D13 put out a 48-question questionnaire. The only thing that everything had in common was that they were all using My Algo wallets, singular signature wallets, and that was the only pattern. They're not sure if this is over yet, and so far they had 3 attacks. With that said, I was going to say, if it's only 2,500 wallets, it's such a small amount. And I think the estimated amount that was hacked was right around 10 million or so, plus or minus. So it's really not a huge amount in reality. And the price of Algorand did not suffer any more, really, than other blockchains. So it seems like this is very contained. That's it. If you guys want to support the channel, I have links down below to become channel members. It's $3 a month. It helps me out to make more videos for you lovely people. I have a link to a free Discord down below. If you guys want to join the Discord, it's totally 100% free. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you. Have a great day.